off, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to talk today. It sounds like you've got a fantastic agenda coming up, and I'm certainly looking forward to sticking around and hearing some of the other discussion points later in the afternoon. So my role is Head of Customer Experience and Loyalty Propositions at M&S. I've been at M&S for the last 5 years in a number of different roles, but my background is always been in customer, in research, and I guess what I'm really passionate about is how can I help organisations create really great experiences for customers that mean that they keep coming back, so that actually we are genuinely creating a relationship with our customers. And obviously working for M&S is a great brand. Prior to that, I was at O2 in kind of similar roles. So I think I've got 20 minutes, and what I thought I'd do is just talk to you a little bit about how we think about designing experiences at M&S. I thought it might be interesting for you to hear some of the challenges that we've been facing. I don't want to say in this unprecedented year of 2020, it feels like that's kind of been one of the buzzwords, but it really has been. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a flavour of some of what we've been doing around that. And then just kind of leave you with some of the things that we're thinking about in terms of what's going to be important to how we really connect with people in the future. So just starting a little bit about M&S. So I'm sure that everybody on this call has an opinion about M&S. You know, we've got pretty much 100% brand awareness. So we're in a really fortunate position. And for the most part, everybody wants M&S to do well, you know, that everybody's quite fond of us. But sometimes I actually don't like to tell people I work for M&S because whenever I do, I get kind of a long list of things that we should be doing better, issues to resolve. My mum still, you know, gets in touch with me when things in her local store aren't up to scratch and thinks that I can actually solve them, which obviously sometimes I try to. But actually, you know, half the UK population shop with us every year, which is, you know, absolutely brilliant. But as you can imagine, that's a massive challenge for us as to actually how do we create a really great experience for every single one of those customers that come and shop with us. And we also sell food, we sell fashion, we sell homeware, we sell beauty, we sell bank services. So actually we've got a lot of different things in our portfolio. And within each of those product portfolios, again, there's quite differing expectations from a service perspective. But the great news is that we are famous for delivering great service. Now that perception is predominantly rooted in our stores and through our people. And what that really means is that actually we have high expectations. We measure our sort of net promoter score. And that's how we kind of measure whether we're delivering sort of a great experience or not. And, you know, we can really see that actually we've got a really strong NPS, but when we don't deliver or when things aren't, you know, they come in and maybe there's a messy stand, actually for us, that's really quite brand damaging. Whereas versus someone like a Primark, actually people aren't going into their store with these high expectations. So they almost get away with more than we can, so to speak. But you know, M&S is a brand, it's rooted in special, it's rooted in quality, and that goes across whether it's in food or fashion. And one of the things that I think we're really most proud of is the fact that, you know, we call it Plan A, which is all around our ethics, our sustainability. And we're really proud that we are a business that does the right thing, and we've got a strong sort of charity. We support lots of charities, and you know, we, as part of our loyalty program, every time you swipe your card, we actually make a donation on behalf of our customers to the charity of their choice. So, you know, that's really one of our sort of core brand principles. And I think, you know, what we were seeing as a business is that we were already in the midst of a digital revolution, and actually the last year has just accelerated that even more. And one of my favourite stats is that in the last 7 months we've seen almost the what we would have expected in 7 years in terms of digital innovation. And you know, the way we live has obviously massively changed, and I'm sure we can all relate to that. And we've got this lovely little video here of this lady doing a TikTok dance, which, you know, without COVID, without us having to all engage and interact with each other digitally, probably just wouldn't have happened. The way we work, I'm sure I don't need to tell everybody on this call, has changed massively. The fact that we're all doing this virtually, you know, is quite different. I'm sure we would have all loved to have been in a conference doing it face to face, which probably a year ago is how we would have been. And I guess most importantly for us, with the biggest implications, is actually the way we shop has changed. So this graph here is just the internet sales as a percentage of total retail sales and the ratio. And you can just see that huge big spike up. So it was already trending upwards, and as a business we were already starting to think about how do we design experiences which are changing to be much more omni-channel, to be much more digital, much more online. But that pace of change has just been absolutely phenomenal in this last year. And you know, what has that meant for us? Well, it's meant that we've really needed to pick up the pace. And that actually we've had to react and do things much quicker than we would have done. And I've kind of picked out this this quote here, which is perfection is the enemy of progress. And I think one of the things that as a brand we've had to get really comfortable with is launching things that might not have a completely seamless customer experience without having mapped that end-to-end journey design completely out, but actually being quite comfortable with launching it and learning quickly, just so that we can almost get innovations out into the market. We went live with our food boxes, so we didn't sell food online before, but obviously with COVID, nobody wanted to go out shopping in stores, and so within sort of 2 weeks, what we had managed to do was start to sell food online, which was a massive feat. And actually, in terms of the way of working and how we're thinking about creating new experiences for customers, is we're thinking about how we'll be much more outcome focused. And actually what we're doing is pulling together cross-functional mission-based teams. And by that, the food boxes is a good example. So, you know, COVID hit. We knew we had to create a way of people to be able to buy M&S food online. So therefore, we pulled together a team which included people from Insight, people from customer experience, people from the .com team, people from stores, because they manage the supply chain. So you start to see bringing together lots of people across the business to really then think about how do we solve that problem. And one of the things that we've been looking at much more is making sure that we're really clear on the measure we're looking to drive. So are we looking to drive an improvement in our net promoter score? Are we looking to increase that? Are we looking for designing an experience which is actually going to increase conversion? So actually when people are coming onto our website, for instance, are we looking to really think about how do we convert those into sales much quicker? And I think us being much more focused on that is really helping us design the experience, which is really about how we achieve that target. In terms of from an M&S perspective, we've really set out our kind of digital transformation, and obviously that has never been more important. And you know, when we think about how do we design and create customer experiences, we absolutely now need to reflect this new world. And our transformation is focused on these 4 pillars. The first is absolutely about omni-channel growth. So how do we enhance shopping experiences via digital? So actually, even within our stores, how do we create really easy, really quick and seamless experiences that are helping drive a much more positive and engaging experience for our customers? And we actually have 10, we call it our 10X store program, which is 10 of our stores where we're testing and learning, and we're actually testing things like QR codes, which have definitely seen a resurgence in COVID. So we're putting QR codes in to help people create outfits, or where their size isn't in stock, putting a QR code which automatically takes them straight to the website. The second pillar, which is really, really important for us, is how do we create what we call authentic digital connections? And, you know, I said to begin with, we've got over 30 million customers, but actually what we want to do is really understand each and every one of them so that we can design the best M&S for them and really have a relevant conversation, because we cannot do that if we're just doing mass communication to all of those people. The second pillars, which I'm not going to touch on too much, but essentially this is actually changing M&S from the inside. And there's a program sort of around digitize M&S. So how can we make sure that we're reinventing how we work, whether that's through building better algorithms that help us make better decisions in-house. That picture there is actually Donington, which is our warehouse, and it's digital picking. So again, making processes much easier, quicker and cheaper through leveraging digital. And then the final one, the final pillar, digital culture. And for me, this is absolutely one of the most important things that as a organisation and company we're doing, which is really investing in our people to be thinking about how can we really make sure that we've got the best digital capabilities. And I think importantly that we've actually got a digital mindset. So we do have lots and lots of stores, which is great. But sometimes we can think almost store first. And actually what we're really doing now is thinking mobile first, thinking digital first, because we absolutely know that that's where the future is in terms of us both engaging with our customers and making sure that actually that's how people are looking to buy. So I just thought I'd kind of set out the framework for how we're thinking about making sure that actually as a brand we're at the forefront of this digital revolution that is happening. The really important thing for us is how do we build deep customer engagement and loyalty? We talk a lot about how do we have, how do we understand unique customers, and how can we make sure that actually we're really understanding this idea of kind of how they're shopping with us, and therefore how we present to them the best of M&S. And data really does have to be at the heart of that. Now, we're quite fortunate as a brand because we have a fantastic loyalty program. I'm going to do a plug for it now, so sorry, it's a shameless sales thing. But if nobody has a Sparks card, the one thing I'd ask for you is, please go and take one out. And actually, I'd love to hear your feedback from it. But essentially, we've got a loyalty program that has 8 million members, which is amazing. And you know what that gives us the ability to do is to really understand and stitch together this idea of single customer view, because obviously that loyalty card means that every time they engage with us, we know about it because they're scanning their card. We've got 11 million who shop on .com and have a .com account with us. We've got 3 million M&S Bank customers. And we've got 1 million customers with Ocado. So, whilst we're really fortunate, that obviously adds lots of complexity when you start to think about how we design and think about customer experiences. The main thing that allows us to do is to try and create these authentic digital connections. So this idea of single customer view. For us, what we want to be doing is when you come onto the homepage, we want to make sure that the experience you have is relevant to you. And, if you're even just as simple as we should know whether you're a man or a woman, and you come on and you see things in menswear or things in women's wear, or, we know you've got kids, so actually we're surfacing the best kids wear deals we've got at the moment, and making sure that actually we're thinking about the email content and thinking about the offer relevancy. And we really want to grow that Sparks base, because whilst 8 million is a great number, we absolutely want to get that even higher, because we've still got that 30 million customers, and we want to be able to have that authentic conversation one-to-one with everybody. And a really big priority for us is personalisation, and how do we create the most relevant M&S for every single one of our customers. And this idea of one-to-one marketing, and I just put this in because I thought it was quite nice to give you a little bit of a flavour for some of the things that we're doing. So for instance, here is an email, and it says you're a superstar shopper. So in August, you were the 4th biggest buyer of Made Without in your M&S St Helens. So it might seem like a quite a small thing, but really helping our customers understand if they're kind of number 1 or number 3 within their local store for buying something, it's telling them that we know them personally, and also we absolutely know that customers really love this kind of insight. They find it fun, and actually they're like, oh, actually I want to be the number 1 buyer. So actually we believe it does drive a commercial benefit as well. Last month you saved 72 quid with Sparks. So again, making sure that we're really showing the value that they get through being a Sparks member is again really, really important to us. And we know that this reminder becomes really, really important. And then seeing something you like, let's go. So again, we know that they've got something in their basket, but they haven't yet checked out. How can we remind them and drive a sales benefit? The other element that we've seen really positive in our marketing is actually been our charity as well. So we do quite a lot around charities, and what we see is that the really compelling message is always when we say actually kind of that big number in terms of how much all of our Sparks customers have helped raise for charity, and then most importantly is what has that money helped deliver. And how we know that resonates because we know our customers feel that they're positively making a difference through being a Sparks member. And this idea of sort of personalization, if we think about sort of from our perspective, that importance of omni-channel, and I'm sure you can all reflect yourselves as to when you're thinking about buying clothing, you know, actually you're kind of starting your journey from an online perspective. And how can we think about making sure that actually these are really, really personalised experiences? And what I've just done is almost just pulled together, it's a futuristic customer journey that we've designed that helps you. And I just thought it was quite helpful for underlying some of the things that we think about when we think about how we're building customer experiences. So the first one, I'm going to take you on the journey of Alice. So Alice is shopping at home. You can see her there. She's browsing on her phone, and she's basically looking for an outfit. So she's coming up. It's a girls' lunch, and she's thinking, actually, which one do I think? She's got her own avatar that is stored within her Sparks profile. So those pictures you can see on the screen is what she's looking at. She can see herself in those, but do you know what? She still can't decide which one. So she's got these 3, and she's going to ask her friends to vote. So you can see at the bottom there via Facebook or via Instagram. And this idea of social proof and engagement is definitely something that we've seen in terms of the customer experience as being really important. So when we look at the M&S website, actually what we're looking to do is start to bring in more social proof. If you, I don't know how many people maybe shop on River Island within here, but if you go onto the River Island website, you'll see much more things like, you know, there's 1,000 people looking at this item now. And we know that social proof as a behavioural economics driver is really important. From a journey perspective, absolutely making things as seamless, quick and easy is almost a absolute given now. It's kind of being seen as a hygiene factor. And the fact that you can shop with Amazon and this one click is absolutely definitely the future. And you can see that within this journey, actually Alice has sent that off to her friends. It's come back. Number 1 is has got the golden circle, and you can see those kind of hearts on. And so she knows which one's the winner, and all she wants to do now is buy really, really easily. So any experience that we're designing, we're thinking about how can we make this quicker, how can we make this fewer steps, and how can we make it really, really seamless for consumers so that they almost don't have to think about it. And one of the principles we think a lot about is this idea of reducing cognitive load. So it has to be as quick and easy as possible. So Alice, so she's bought, she pressed it really quickly. She's then received this email back that says, thanks for your order. And within this email, it then at the bottom says, actually, what you've bought is this, this khaki jacket. And we think that these jeans, shirt and boots would be brilliant to go with it to complete the look. And that's immediately piquing Alice's interest. Okay, well, actually, could probably do the new pair of jeans. And those boots there are on sale, so what a bargain. And at the bottom of that email, prepare these items for me to try when I collect. So this idea of how can we actually upsell to customers, but in a way that doesn't just feel as though we're really, really just trying to sell. It's about actually outfit completion, and actually it's a benefit to you. And then what she can do is book those items for her when she comes into the store to pick up, because she's ordered it by click and collect. So because we have geo location and Alice has the M&S app, we know when she's just outside the store, and the customer assistant gets a notification saying Alice is close by, please prepare the fitting room. And this idea of how can we, again, really think about customer convenience. And for us, stores are still really, really important. But actually what we want to be doing is making sure that we are giving our colleagues much more insight and data on our customers that actually makes their jobs much, much easier. So Alice comes in, she goes into the fitting room, she tries on the blazer, and there's a magic mirror there which says, looking good, Alice, but actually would you like to try it in another size? And so again, service almost at the push of a button. Actually it doesn't need Alice to do anything apart from push that button, and we'll get a colleague assistant to come through to her. And the final frame is Alice wearing her jacket, and actually you can see that she's uploaded a review. So she's saying that the fit was actually quite a little bit loose, so she then went for a size smaller. So it's a perfect blazer for a lunch out, but actually if you want a tighter fit, then go for that smaller size. And, you know, we absolutely are really focused on sort of reviews and feedback, because we know that that's really, really critical. Again, I'm sure if you can all think about when was the last time you went and stayed in a hotel and you didn't read the TripAdvisor reviews. It's become such an ingrained part of people's journey when they're thinking about purchasing, that again it's really, really important. And again, if you can look at how many people were put off, you know, if you've not bought something because of a review. I certainly know when I reflect on, you know, some of my recent purchases that I've definitely been put off by that. So we're absolutely thinking about how can we almost drive as much as many reviews as we can, and obviously hoping that they're all positive. I touched on this earlier, and I just wanted to kind of come back round with the, you know, we absolutely see Sparks as this holy grail of better customer understanding. And the reason that it gives us better customer understanding, which allows us to deliver better customer experiences. And it's the platform of engagement in terms of the conversation that we have with our customers, but it's also about data capture and insight. We have something what we call sort of a customer data platform, and that sits behind our sort of Sparks, our Sparks card. And what that does is starts to score our customers on a variety of different dimensions that allows us to understand gender, that allows us to understand whether you have kids or not, that allows us to understand your purchasing habits, whether you're price sensitive or not. And that therefore means that actually when we think about how we communicate with you, we communicate in a much better way with things that we know are going to help drive a change in your behaviour. ultimately we're looking to nudge people in the most simplistic way is to buy more from M&S. We would much rather you bought with us than with our competitors. And finally, I just thought I'd talk about some of the things, that we're facing into. And I guess, the reality is that customer expectations have never been higher. And, whilst the likes of Uber and the likes of Deliveroo, you might not think are our kind of traditional competitors, but we are absolutely looking to them because we know our customers are using them. And we know that the experience they have when they're engaging with those different retailers means that when they come to shop with us, they don't want to be waiting around for delivery. They don't want to have to be choosing a slot in sort of a week's time. Actually, it's about immediacy. And actually our competitors can do it, next delivery proposition, you can even get same day now. So we absolutely need to be thinking about that from our perspective. One of the challenges that we've got, and we've really been facing this last year, is if anybody's worked in retail before, it's really hard to be strategic and to be really thinking about actually what we're going to be doing in a year, 2 years, 3 years. And that has been made even harder this year because we've had to really focus on how do we trade the now, and that food box example is a good example because we've had to make sure that we adapt all of our how we sell to be in line with actually how customers want to buy. It's just been such a dramatic shift. And obviously we have Christmas coming up and we've got complexity within different tier systems. It's the amount of work that has gone on to really help make sure that we trade through Christmas has been phenomenal. It's the golden quarter. But we do need to also balance that with investing in the capability for us to be here in the future. When you look at sort of the retail sector and you think about HMV, Blockbuster, House of Fraser, there are some really, really big names that aren't here anymore. And we absolutely do not want to be in that pile. Doing more for less. So, we've had a really challenging time. We've had to make redundancies. Our budgets have been cut, but the pressure is still on. So we need to be smarter about how do we leverage tech to design experiences that enable us to free up our colleagues in stores to be doing have much richer and better conversations with our customers. We're famous for our store experience, and we absolutely want to be famous for our digital customer experience. And ultimately, what we're really looking to do is to be more relevant more often at the right times for our customers. So that's it. I could have spoken for ages. There's so much to talk about from an M&S perspective. Hopefully that was useful and helpful, and I'd love to hear if you've got any questions or comments.
Well, I'd just like to say, first and foremost, thank you so much, Hayley. Thank you, absolutely brilliant. I've got I've written loads of notes, and there's some really interesting things now. I think we've got time for one quick question. Well, we've had a few questions, but there's one lucky winner for the question, and it's, could you tell us a little bit about staff empowerment? So this is, they've said it, and I'm thinking in terms of the post-vaccination return to stores being heavily discussed at the moment. So if you give us a quick, if it's possible, response to that, that'd be great, please.
Yeah, sure. I think that we found this really quite challenging, actually, because particularly as one of the things that have, from an M&S perspective, is that we try and make sure that in head office we're not seen as we don't even call it head office, we call it the support centre, that we're not in the ivory tower. But essentially all of our store colleagues have had to be out working in stores, engaging with customers. So it's been really, really hard to try and work through actually what's the best kind of solution for everybody. I think the sort of post-vaccination, I'm not sure if I understand completely what you mean around the idea of staff empowerment per se, but I guess, we're hoping that people will come and shop with us with confidence. We're continuing to make sure that people feel safe within our stores, socially distanced masks. We've got the hand sanitizer, and we'll continue to obviously have sort of a really big focus on that.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you so much. And honestly, if anybody has any more questions, we're going to capture all the questions afterwards. Hayley, do you mind if there are some that we can maybe have a discussion offline and we can share any responses afterwards? Is that okay?
Yeah, yep. I'll if anyone has a question, I will respond back to every single question. So yeah, pop them in the chat or send them through to Richard, and I'll make sure that that yeah, you get a response on that.
There we go. What fantastic service. We'd expect nothing less.
Yeah, it'd be awkward.
The pro on that is that everyone has to take out their Sparks loyalty card now.
Absolutely,
Yeah, exactly. I would say that I'd do a check, but that's probably against GDPR. So.
I just wanted to finish with one final comment in the Q&A, which was thank you, Hayley, brilliant insight. And to be offering some feedback, the M&S in-store hand sanitizer smells amazing.
Excellent. So there you go. Not just any hand sanitizer, M&S hand sanitizer.